If you watch the front view from the Charlie Kirk assassination, you'll see that his belly ripples first, and then his everything goes up. His shirt lifts up, his necklace lifts up. There's a swell on the back of his neck that pops out. See, he was sitting on top of a landing this time. The table had a skirt on it that was taped down so it couldn't fly around. The landing was on top, was right in front of that tunnel hatch, you know. So there's a hatch that goes to a tunnel that goes to the college for maintenance. That was right directly underneath that table. And then there's a landing with a hole in the center with the chair on top. And from the very beginning, I said the chair was broken underneath, right? So I seen from the front view, you can see the belly ripple. You can see everything go up. He goes up, he clenches down. There's a swell on the side of his neck. Now, if you push an object through somebody from their butt all the way up to their neck, real fast, like a bullet, it's going to send a pressure wave, and it sends a swell up on his neck, and then it goes back down. But a 30-06 bullet goes 17 to 24 inches through the human body. Medical examiner said he found a 30-06 bullet. That makes sense because they shot him through the gut. See, if you go through the butt, it goes through your gut. He thinks with his gut. This was intentional, you know. So the medical examiner found a bullet that went the proper distance, 17, 24 inches. Now, Charlie was thrown off his chair to his back left, but they said the shooter was to his front left. So he should have went to his back right, but he was thrown to his back left. So the guy that threw him while the bullet was going through his belly. He reached down real low, grabbed him by the waist, and threw him to the wrong direction. If Tyler Robinson would have shot him from his front left, he would have went to his back right, but he was thrown to his back left. Why was the guy behind him so fast to have his hands on Charlie while the bullet was going through Charlie? Because he had advance notice. That's faster than anybody in war's ever known. Those responses don't exist, you know, because you can't have your hands on somebody while a bullet's going through them when you're 7, 8 feet away. You can't get to them in that time. But he did because he knew that the bullet would lift Charlie up and they needed to follow a narrative. So he threw him, but he threw him in the wrong direction, you know. So he shot from underneath through the landing. And then there's no blood on the shirt. None. Nowhere. Couldn't have been the mic. You didn't see blood there. You didn't see blood anywhere. The necklace was called a bullet. It was called blood. But it was a necklace. It was rosary, you know. So that's all that went up was his shirt and his necklace. And those couldn't have went up if he was hit from the front. If he was hit from the front, then it would have just threw him back real hard, real fast in the same direction he was hit by, which would have been to his back right. You know, if he gets hit this way, he's going to keep going that way, you know, but he didn't. He got hit from underneath, and then he was thrown this way. You know, he should have went this way, but he was thrown this way because the bullet come from that way. So if the bullet comes from that way, you go this way. But instead, he was thrown this way. So way off, way wrong. All right, guys. So now you know. It doesn't matter what you know. It's been 6 years. There's plenty of evidence on the Epstein files, not one arrest. Look at quit complaining about the Epstein files and have the judge that took care of the first trial arrested and put in prison for violating constitutional rights and for protecting for protecting the pedophiles in the first place. If you're protecting people that committed those kinds of crimes and using various court rulings to protect people and hide evidence, then you need to go to jail. You need to be held accountable. So everybody should study the judge that handled the first Epstein case. You know, the one that was dealing with the Donald Trump files. You know, the man that bought all the organizations and had all these middlemen that are still working for him. The one that became president, not the one that went to jail. The Trump files. Get it right, guys.